Alright, what's going on, guys? Today I'll be breaking down the NBA slate for Friday, February 24th. We got a big 10-game slate on for this Friday, so let's hop right into it. Alright, starting off at point guard, your most expensive point guard on the slate is Russell Westbrook. He gets a terrific matchup at home against the Lakers. I really like Westbrook in this matchup. He is kind of expensive at $62, but a matchup against the Lakers is one you can't pass up on, so Westbrook is definitely in play. He's a top stud on the slate, in my opinion, so if you want to pay up for Westbrook, I don't have a problem with that. But it is a 10-game slate, so he's not really needed. But if you do want to pay up for him, I don't have a problem with that. This is a terrific matchup. Under him, you got Giannis against Utah. I'm probably not going to go there. Utah's a really good defensive team, and they play at a really slow pace. And at $53, I don't think Giannis can pay off that price tag in this matchup, so I'm not going to be on Giannis. Under him, you got John Wall against the Sixers. That's a pretty solid matchup. Wall is kind of overpriced in my opinion at $51, but this is a good matchup against the Sixers, so you can pay up for him. Isaiah Thomas against Toronto, I don't really like that matchup. Kyle Lowry's a pretty good defender, but Thomas has really been killing it with Avery Bradley out of the lineup. Bradley is expected to return soon, and if he does return for this game, then I don't think Thomas is in play. But if Bradley is out, I think you can use Thomas. Even at $48, he should be able to pay off that price tag. Yahoo currently has Chris Paul is on the injured reserve, but he is expected to return soon. If he returns for this game, I don't think he's going to be in play. He might be on a minutes restriction because he has been out for a while. And at $46, I don't think Paul is necessary. Even if he returns for this game, I don't think I'm going to go there. Kyle Lowry against Boston, I really like that matchup. Lowry's price has dropped a little bit. And this is a terrific matchup against Boston. Isaiah Thomas is one of the worst defenders in the league. So I really like Lowry. If you're wanting to pay up at point guard, he would be someone I would look towards. Even at $40, he should be able to pay off that price tag. This matchup is just too good. Eric Bledsoe against the Bulls, I like that matchup. You can definitely take Bledsoe. If I were you, I'd just try and find the extra dollar to get Lowry, but Bledsoe is definitely in play. This is a pretty solid matchup. Goran Dragic against Atlanta. I don't really like Dragic's price tag at $35, but this is a terrific matchup. Atlanta is one of the worst teams defensively against the point guard. So you can look towards Dragic. Jeff Teague against Memphis, I'm probably not going to go there. If I were you, I'd just try and find the extra dollar to get Dragic. So I'm probably not going to be on Teague. I don't really like that matchup. Mike Conley against Indiana, I like that matchup. Jeff Teague's not a great defender. You can definitely look towards Conley. At only $33, he should be able to pay off that price tag. This is a pretty solid matchup. Ricky Rubio against Dallas, I don't like that matchup. Dallas plays at a really slow pace. And Rubio's price has risen tremendously, so I don't think I'm going to go to Rubio. Yahoo currently has Dennis Schroeder listed as a game-time decision, but he is expected to play. If he does play, I really like him in this matchup. Miami's not great defensively, and Schroeder is pretty cheap at only $27, so if you want to attack the mid-range, I really like Schroeder. D'Angelo Russell against OKC, I really like that matchup. Russell Westbrook's not a great defender. He really doesn't play defense. And Russell is pretty cheap at only $24, so if you're wanting to attack the mid-range, I really like Russell. He's definitely in play. Jameer Nelson did start Thursday ahead of Emmanuel Mudiay. Even with Mudiay returning, they still started Nelson. If he starts against Brooklyn, I really like that matchup. Brooklyn's one of the worst teams defensively, and they play up in pace. Nelson's price is pretty high at $18, but if he starts against Brooklyn, he should easily be able to get you 25 to 30 fantasy points. So if you're wanting to pay down at point guard, I really like Nelson. Also at that same price tag, I really like Marcus Smart. If Avery Bradley doesn't play in this game, you can definitely look towards Smart on the cheaper end. He's just really been killing it with Bradley out of the lineup, and he's been playing heavy minutes. So if Avery Bradley does not play in this game, I really like Smart. He's in play in my opinion. Another guy on the cheap end is TJ McConnell. He's also been very consistent lately. If you want to pay down at point guard, he's definitely somebody I would look towards. Washington's not great defensively. So if you want to pay down at point guard, I really like McConnell as well. That's pretty much it for all the point guards, guys. Let's just go ahead and move on to shooting guard. All right, your top shooting guard on this slate is DeMar DeRozan. He gets a solid matchup against Boston. If Avery Bradley does not play in this game, then I really like DeRozan. Avery Bradley is a really good defender, so if he doesn't play, then DeRozan should be able to dominate in this matchup. And his price is pretty cheap at only $40. So if Avery Bradley is out and he doesn't play, then I really like DeRozan. He should be able to dominate and should easily be able to hit value at only $40. Bradley Beal against the Sixers, I like that matchup as well. Beal is a little expensive at $32, but he's really been consistent lately, so if you want to pay up at shooting guard, I would definitely look towards Beal. D-Wade against Phoenix, I really like that matchup as well. Phoenix plays bad defense, and they play at a really fast pace, so D-Wade's also in play. And right under him is Devin Booker. I really like that matchup as well. If you're wanting to attack the mid-range, Booker's definitely going to be one guy I'm going to target. He's just been really consistent all year, and he plays over 30 minutes just about every night. So if you're wanting to attack the mid-range, I really like Booker. He's probably going to be one of the shooting guards that I target. At $28, he shouldn't have a problem hitting value, so I really like Booker if you want to attack the mid-range. Another guy I like on the mid-range is Victor Oladipo. He gets a terrific matchup against the Lakers. They're terrible defensively, and they play at a fast pace. And Oladipo is really cheap at only $24, so given the matchup, I really like him. He shouldn't have a problem paying off that price tag. So I also like Oladipo if you're wanting to attack the mid-range. If Avery Bradley plays and he doesn't have any minutes restrictions, you could look towards him at only $24. I would probably just take Oladipo over him, but if Bradley plays and he's not going to be limited, then I like him at only $24. And one guy on the cheap end you could target is Monte Ellis. I don't really like this matchup against Memphis, but Ellis has really been consistent lately. Before the All-Star break, he was absolutely killing it. He was playing close to 30 minutes just about every night, and he was really producing. Like I said, I don't like this matchup, but at only $11, I feel like Ellis should easily be able to get you 20 to 25 fantasy points. If he plays close to 30 minutes, then he should easily be able to pay off that $11 price tag. So if you're wanting to pay down at shooting guard, I don't have a problem with Ellis. And that's pretty much it for shooting guard, guys. There really isn't much value at shooting guard. I feel like you're going to have to attack the mid-range here or pay up. The only cheap shooting guard that I feel like could pay off their price tag would be Ellis. But other than that, I'm probably just going to attack the mid-range here or pay up for DeRozan or Beal. But yeah, let's just go ahead and move on to small forward. Alright, your top small forward on this slate is Kawhi Leonard. He gets a pretty bad matchup against the Clippers. And Ba Mute is a really solid defender, so I don't know if I'm going to go towards Kawhi. At $45, he has to get you at least 45 to 50 fantasy points to pay off that price tag. And I don't know if he can do that in this matchup, so I'm probably not going to be going on Kawhi. But he was killing it before the All-Star break, so if you want to look towards him, I don't have a problem with that, but I'm probably not going to be going after him. Jimmy Butler against Phoenix, I really like that matchup for Butler. Phoenix is terrible defensively, and they play at a really fast pace. If you're wanting to pay, I would take Butler over Leonard if you're choosing between those two. This is just a way better matchup for Butler. So I would take him if you're choosing between him and Kawhi. Paul George against Memphis, that's a really bad matchup. Memphis is great defensively, and they play at a slow pace, so I'm probably not going to be on George. Andrew Wiggins against Dallas, I'm probably not going to go to that either. Dallas does play at a really slow pace, and Wiggins is really expensive at $36, so I'm probably not going to go to him. Gordon Hayward against Milwaukee, that's fine. Milwaukee isn't great defensively, and they play at a pretty fast pace. So you could look towards Hayward if you're wanting to pay up at small forward, but I'm probably not going to go there. Otto Porter against the Sixers, that's fine if you want to attack that. I'm probably not going to go there, though. I don't really like rostering Porter just because he's kind of been up and down all year. And at that $27 price tag, he has to get you at least 30 fantasy points to pay it off that price tag. So I'm probably not going to go after him. I don't think he's going to be able to pay off that price tag. Gallinari against Brooklyn, I really like that matchup for Gallo. He is kind of expensive at $25, but against Brooklyn, anybody's in play. Brooklyn's just one of the worst teams defensively. So if you want to attack the mid-range, I don't have a problem with Gallinari. He's definitely in play against Brooklyn. At that same price tag, you got Robert Covington against Washington. I also like that matchup. Covington was absolutely killing it before the All-Star break, so if you want to attack the mid-range, I don't have a problem with Covington. He's in play. Jay Crowder against Toronto, I also like that matchup. I definitely feel like the mid-range is where you're going to want to target at small forward. And Crowder's going to be one of the guys you want to target. At only $23, he shouldn't have a problem hitting value, so I like Crowder. Wes Matthews against Minnesota, that's fine, but I'm probably not going to go there. I'll just try and find the extra dollar to get Crowder. And one guy on the cheap end you can target is Dario Saric. Brett Brown has already come out and said that Sarge is expected to start for this game. And he was absolutely killing it before the All-Star break. In his last 5 games before the All-Star break, he had 25, 42, 37, 35, and 34 fantasy points. And he played 21, 27, 26, 31, and 33 minutes. If he does start in this game, I really like him at only $17. He should easily be able to pay off that cheap price tag. So I really like Sarge if you want to pay down at small forward. He's probably one of the top value plays on the slate. Like I said, he shouldn't have a problem paying off that $17 price tag, so I really like Sarge. That's pretty much it for small forward, guys. If you want to pay up, I would probably look at Kawhi, Butler, and Hayward. But the mid-range and the cheaper end is definitely going to be where you want to go. At the mid-range, I would look towards Gallo, Covington, and Crowder. And then on the cheap end, I really like Sarge. He's probably going to be the small forward that I target. But yeah, let's just go ahead and move on to power forward. All right, your top power forward on the slate is Blake Griffin. He gets a bad matchup against San Antonio. They're really good defensively against the power forward. And at $45, I don't think you have to go to Griffin. He's not going to be someone I look at. I don't think he's going to be able to pay off that price tag, so I'm probably not going to be looking towards Blake. Paul Millsap against Miami, I really like that matchup. Miami's not great defensively. Millsap is relatively cheap at only $35, so he's one guy you can look towards for cash games. He's really been consistent all year. LaMarcus Aldridge against the Clippers, I like that matchup. Clippers aren't great defensively, and Aldridge is really cheap at only $29. I like him for cash games with that price tag. He shouldn't have a problem paying it off. Serge Ibaka is expected to make his debut for Toronto. I feel like he's going to be heavily involved in the Toronto offense. So if you want to target Ibaka, I don't have a problem with that. James Johnson against the Hawks, I really like that matchup as well. You could look towards Johnson. He's really been consistent all year. Harrison Barnes against Minnesota, that's a pretty solid matchup, and Barnes is cheap at only $26. He's always somebody I like to look at for cash games just because he always manages to hit value. And especially at $26, he shouldn't have a problem paying off that price tag, so I like Barnes for cash. The guy I'm probably going to target, though, is Julius Randle. He gets a solid matchup against OKC. They're not great defensively against the power forward. And Randle is really cheap at only $24. He was struggling earlier in the year, but he did manage to pick it up before the All-Star break. And at only $24, I feel like he should easily be able to get you at least 25 to 30 fantasy points. So I really like Randle just based on that price tag. He shouldn't have a problem hitting value. Zach Randolph against Indiana, I really like that matchup. If I were you, I would just try and find the extra dollars to get Randle, but Randolph's definitely in play. Indiana's not great defensively against the power forward. Trevor Booker against Denver. I'm probably not going to go there, but Booker is really cheap at only $18, and Denver's not great defensively, so Booker's a fine play. Michael Beasley was one guy we were targeting before the All-Star break for value. Ever since Jabari Parker tore his ACL, Beasley stepped up into the starting role. And in the 4 games that he started, he's played 23, 25, 31, and 21 minutes. And put up 23, 17, 40, and 21 fantasy points. This isn't a great matchup against Utah, but Beasley is really cheap at only $14. The only thing I worry about are his minutes, because his minutes have been up and down. But if he plays at least 20 to 25 minutes, he shouldn't have a problem paying off that $14 price tag. So if you want to pay down at power forward, I really like Beasley. He's going to be someone I'll look at. Even with a bad matchup against Utah, he's just way too cheap. So I like him if you're wanting to pay down. And I think that's it for all the power forwards. Let's just go ahead and move on to center. All right, your top center on this slate is Karl Anthony Towns. He gets a bad matchup against Dallas. They play at a really slow pace, and they're great defensively against the center. But Dallas did lose their best rim protector in Andrew Bogut. He got traded to the Sixers. This is a slow-paced matchup, but Cat was really killing it before the All-Star break, so he's fine if you want to pay up at center. If I were you, though, I would just take the guy under him, and that's Nikola Jokic. He gets a terrific matchup at home against Brooklyn. They're terrible defensively. So if you want to pay up at center, I would look towards Jokic. He's probably the top center on this slate. He's just a straight-up beast. I feel like he has a 40-point floor in this matchup against Brooklyn. The only thing I worry about when rostering guys against the Nets is blowout potential. But the Nuggets haven't been that great this year, so I don't think this game should blow out. So if you want to pay up at center, I would look towards Jokic. He's the top center on this slate, in my opinion. Hassan Whiteside against Atlanta. I don't really like that matchup. Dwight's a pretty decent defender, but Whiteside is really cheap at only $37, so you could look towards him. Marc Gasol against Indiana. I really like that matchup for Gasol. And Gasol's really cheap at only $34. He shouldn't have a problem paying off that price tag. So if you want to pay up at center, I really like Gasol. He's definitely in play. Rudy Gobert against Milwaukee. I really like that matchup as well. Milwaukee's not great defensively against the center. Even at $30, he shouldn't have a problem paying off that price tag. He's just been really consistent all year. So you can look towards Gobert for cash games. Brook Lopez against Denver. I like that matchup. Lopez is definitely in play as well. Denver's not great defensively, and they play up in pace. The Brooklyn-Denver game is probably going to be one of the most high-scoring games on this slate, so you're going to want to target guys from that game. And Lopez would be one guy I would target. At $27, he shouldn't have a problem paying off that price tag. So if you want to attack the mid-range at center, I would look towards Lopez. Al Horford against Toronto, that's a decent matchup. Him and Lopez are the same price, so if I were you, I would just take Lopez over Horford. But the guy I'm going to be targeting is Dwight Howard. Howard has just been really consistent all year, and he's way too cheap in my opinion at only $25. Given this matchup against the Heat, he shouldn't have a problem paying off that price tag. Hassan Whiteside's not a great defender, so I really like Howard. Given that $25 price tag, he shouldn't have a problem hitting value, so he's going to be one of the centers I look at. DeAndre Jordan against San Antonio, you could look towards that. San Antonio isn't great defensively against the center. Him and Howard are the same price, though, so if I were you, I'd just take Howard over Jordan. Gortat against the Sixers, I like that matchup as well. Joel Embiid is not expected to play in this game, so Gortat will probably be guarded by Jahlil Okafor, and he should be able to dominate that matchup. So if you want to attack the mid-range at center, I really like Gortat as well. He's in play. Miles Turner against Memphis, definitely not going to go there. Marc Gasol is one of the best defenders in the league, so don't think Turner's in play. This is a really bad matchup. Steven Adams against the Lakers, I really like that matchup for Adams. He is pretty cheap as well at only $21. He shouldn't have a problem paying off that price tag against the Lakers, so if you want to attack the mid-range, I like Adams as well. And one guy on the cheap end I really like is Kelly Olynyk. He is way too cheap at only $11 based on his recent production. In his last 5 games before the All-Star break, he put up 23, 39, 24, 28, and 32 fantasy points. And he's actually been playing pretty consistent minutes. So at $11, I really like Olynyk if you're wanting to pay down at center. This is a pretty solid matchup against the Raptors. So yeah, if you want to pay down at center, I really like Olynyk. He's one of the top value plays on the slate. Just based on that $11 price tag, he shouldn't have a problem paying that off. And another cheap center you could look towards is Jahlil Okafor. Joel Embiid is not expected to play in this game, and Nerlens Noel got traded to the Maverick. So Okafor is going to be the starting center for the Sixers, and he's the minimum price on Yahoo. So I like Okafor as well if you're wanting to pay down at center. If I were you, I would try and find the extra dollar to get to Olynyk, but Okafor is definitely in play. He should play at least 25 to 30 minutes, so at the minimum price, I definitely think Okafor is in play as well. And that's pretty much it for center. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a lineup. Alright guys, so this is a lineup I built for the NBA slate on Friday, February 24th. If you guys have any questions, please be sure to leave them down in the comments and I'll answer them. I really appreciate you guys watching the video. Please be sure to like and subscribe. If you never want to miss out on a video, please be sure to click the bell icon next to my YouTube name and you'll get notified whenever I upload. So be sure to do that if you never want to miss out on a video. But yeah, thanks for watching guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
When we was young, we would love to bring designers in. A cut class and never turn an assignment in. That one night I got in a bad fight. I swear I never talk about nobody mom again. But people tell me I'm the man, the franchise player. Gotta go for blood.